Hello everybody, my name is Sniping is Fun, and I welcome you back to the 64th character in the series of Newcomer ideas for the upcoming Smash Bros. Game, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, on the Nintendo Switch. And as I mentioned in the last video, for the 64th character, I was going to be jumping into the world of Disgaea with the main character from the first game, Laharl. And like always, 3 separate categories. Why does the character make sense for Smash Bros? What moves and ideas could I think of for them, and percentage chance I can see them actually, being included, being chosen to be in. Now, for those of you that don't know what Disgaea is, for the uninformed, it's a series that's been around since about 2003. It's like a crazy over-the-top anime, like tactical RPG type series. And it's, if you're familiar with something like, like a Fire Emblem, or a Suikoden, or Final Fantasy Tactics, or even the older Phantasy Star games, it's kind of similar to that. You pick your units, you put them on the field, you equip them with weapons, you go to town fighting the enemy and surviving, and hopefully you don't get yourself killed. There you go. You level your soldiers up, you level your army up, and you go from chapter to chapter, battle to battle. And it's super crazy, over-the-top antics, cutscene attacks, special attacks, very, very, very anime. And I'm assuming by now, I'm hoping that you have at least played one of them, especially if you're a Nintendo fan, because 2 of them are on the systems. And if you're into something like a Final Fantasy Tactics or a Fire Emblem, I'm sure you would like the series. So, just to let you know, go research it, learn about it. There's some games out there you can play if you're a Nintendo fan. There you go. But yes, Laharl. Why does he make sense again? Why does Disgaea make sense of all third parties? As niche as it is, technically, why does it deserve to be a character, a franchise, a third party, NIS America, to get, which publishes the games, they're not the creator, but they publish them. But, they're a franchise. Why does Disgaea deserve to be, getting a character in Smash Brothers? Why does Laharl, of all people, deserve to be one of the next third parties for Smash Brothers? Well, first and foremost, Disgaea does have pretty close connections to Nintendo. It does have appearances on Nintendo. The first game, Laharl's game here, was released years ago on the original DS. It was originally a PS2 game back in 2003, and then they released it early on in the DS's life, I think around 2007-8. So that probably might have been you might have played that game. That was its first jump to Nintendo, because by that point there was like 2 or 3 games on the PlayStation brand, and then they jumped to Nintendo. Then just recently with the Nintendo Switch, Nintendo's current generation system, Disgaea 5, its complete version, was ported to it. Disgaea 5 is on Nintendo Switch, so you can go to your stores and you buy it, or buy it online or whatever. It's an awesome game, people. It is a really fun addition to the series. And they are also taking the first game and remaking it, especially in the style of Disgaea 4 and 5, and bringing that to the Nintendo Switch too. So that makes 3 Disgaea games on Nintendo. The series is also fairly popular. It's still niche. It's not as big as, say, like a Castlevania or a Mega Man, or even maybe No More Heroes to some extent. Or, various other third parties like indie characters like Shantae and Shovel Knight, which have gained their own popularity over the years. And, Simon Belmont or Rayman or Bomberman or Crash Bandicoot or whatever, like the big name third party characters that everyone knows about, the mainstream third party characters. But it has grown fairly popular. It is a popular niche. It is a popular franchise, and there's a lot of fans out there that are dedicated to the Disgaea series, and they played every single one. Disgaea 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Disgaea D2, and when Disgaea 6, 7, 8 come out, they're going to be playing that. It's a dedicated fan base, and it does have its own fan base. It is popular in Japan. It's getting popular in America and in Europe and whatnot. It does have popularity around the world that people could recognize the characters if they are included and make cameos in other games. And also, there is a future for this series on Nintendo, in the fact that the third parties technically have to be close to Nintendo. Disgaea 5 did really well. I've looked at the sales of it. It did pretty damn well on the Nintendo Switch. And the first one also did pretty freaking well on the DS. And I'm assuming when the first one gets remade for the Switch, I think next year, I think it's coming out either the end of this year or next year, That's going to do pretty well too. So when Disgaea 6, 7, 8 come out, they probably will also get a Nintendo version. There is an audience this company knows, the creator of Disgaea knows, is on Nintendo, and it's growing year by year, day by day. So that's the reason why I feel it should be even if it's as niche as it still is, it's growing in popularity, and one day it's going to reach the levels of like a Mega Man or a Simon Belmont or, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, Bomberman, Shantae, Shovel Knight, and stuff like that. Like these ones that are instantly recognizable. Banjo-Kazooie, Travis Touchdown, all these other third-party characters. The Doom Slayer guy. Any of these characters. It's growing in popularity, and that's why I feel this guy should be represented in Smash Brothers. It has 3 games so far on the system. They're fairly freaking popular, and they've sold well enough to... There's probably be future games on it, and the series has its own popularity, and it is fairly well known. There you go. And Laharl is the original main character from it, and out of the games that are on Nintendo, 2 of them are his game. He's also made appearances in like every single other game, except for maybe 5. I'm not sure. I think he's a DLC character in 5. But he made appearances in 2, 3, and 4. He's all around the series, so he would represent the series quite well. So that's the reason why I feel like, Laharl specifically, but this guy in general should get a character in Smash Brothers. Now we're on the moveset ideas. I am a big, or at least I would say a fairly big fan of the series. I've played at least most of the games. I had to do a little bit of research here because it's been a while since I played the original. I haven't played as Laharl in a while, so I have to kind of remember his moveset and his special attacks and everything. So I had to do a little bit of research. He does use a sword, and I know people are going to be complaining, "Oh no, a sword user! I don't want more of those!" He uses I forgot what kind of sword it is. It's like it's like a broadsword. It's a big, but it's like short. It's like a short broadsword, so it's a big giant blade. So he uses that. That's like his basic sword you can get from him in the game. So I'm going to give him his basic sword. Or you can give him his ultimate sword, like the strongest sword in Disgaea series, just give him that too, either or. But I'll go with, in my idea, the broadsword. His sword swings, swiping his sword, jabbing with his sword, swinging his sword upwards, downwards, sideways, diagonal. That will be his smash attacks. And he's a fairly small kid-like character with a big sword, he probably won't be the fastest character in the game, but he'll be dealing heavy damage and heavy hits. And if he can hit you with the thing, he's going to cause some massive damage, especially if he combos you. So that's what I'm going to go with. He has the big sword, and due to his size being fairly small, he won't be super slow, but he won't be super fast. But if he catches you with his sword, he's a heavy hitter combo, heavy damage character. His special attacks are all like his other weapons he could use and all his special abilities. He can use a gun, even though it's one of the weakest weapons he could use in the game. So he could be able to pull out a little pistol and shoot you with a little gun. It's not going to be like what I talked about with Leon Kennedy being a major part of his moveset. It's just going to be one little thing, and it's going to be weak. Compared to Leon Kennedy, who's firearm crazy and can shoot you with rocket launchers and grenade launchers and flamethrowers and machine guns, he knows how to use weapons and how to be causing heavy damage. For Laharl, it's going to be a minor part of his moveset and his special attacks, probably just standard B, and it doesn't cause that much damage, but it gives him a ranged attack. So he's more of a close range fighter, but he can do some range stuff, even though he's mostly a close range fighter. But some of the range attacks, like I said, you can't rely on heavy damage from far with him. You have to be close. And then there's like these ultimate attacks, like when you level up, like how Pokemon get their super strong attacks as you level them up. He can do these, in Disgaea, there's super cutscene based, anime-esque crazy special attack cutscenes. And I picked one of them for his Final Smash, and I'm not there yet, but I did look at the research for the original game. He has 3, and I'm giving the other 2, even though more minor, because I looked at them, and I remember now, they're super cutscene based and super crazy. That would make more sense as Final Smashes, so I'm going to tone them down a little bit so they can be in his special attacks. The first one is a Blazing Knuckle, so he can punch you. It's a fire punch, and he's like, and he can punch you with a fire attack, and it's chargeable. I'm going to make it chargeable. And if you charge it fully, you can uppercut them and you send them flying in the air. So you can go jump up and do some combo damage. Because in the actual game, the cutscene is he fires them up in the air and then he punches them to the ground. That's a little bit much for a standard attack. So it'll set you up for something to do something like that. So fully chargeable special attack Blazing Knuckle knocks them up in the air, and then you can jump up and just do punches and kicks and sword slices or whatever. There you go. And then he also has Overlord's Wrath, which is where you can summon like these fire energy balls, and the attack is he surrounds the opponent in energy balls, and they all just corner the opponent. They all center down into the opponent and attack him. That obviously is OP for a standard attack. So just pressing the button summons one little fireball that you can shoot at an opponent. One little fire energy ball and you can shoot at them. If you fully charge it, you'll summon a few of them and they go flying forward to hit your opponent. There you go. And that's about it for basically the special attacks. If he has any other weapons he could use in the game, I would say just throw it in there. If there's any other ranged attacks, I know he could use stabs as well. So maybe some magic stuff too. Maybe he can use like a magic spell or something from a distance far as well. But he's weak at ranged attacks. That's one thing I've seen. He's more of a close range, melee fighter. So any ranged attacks he has are not going to be something you'd have to be able to, you can rely on for his moveset. So close range fighter that can use a handgun, use little magic wand sticks and shoot some magic, but they're not going to cause heavy amounts of damage. They'll just be a way of maybe saving you if an opponent can shoot you from a distance. So kind of keep a distance between you and your opponent. And then, like I said, the Blazing Knuckle and Overlord's Wrath, but minor versions. If you played the series and you see how they are, I'm toning them down a bit just so they could be attacks for a moveset in Smash Brothers, and you charge them up and they're more powerful. So before we get started, the big broadsword has his smash attacks, and then he does his gun, a little bit of magic stab stuff, saves. Blazing Knuckle and Overlord's Wrath has his specials. His final smash, now, we're getting onto that, is the Meteor Impact, which is a special attack he basically uses throughout most of the series. He basically jumps on a giant meteor, which crash lands into the earth, and he's laughing all the way, if you play the game, you'd get his personality. He's all like evil, maniacally laughing as he's riding a meteor to impact his opponents on Earth, and then this big explosion. So obviously the cutscene, he'll catch you with like maybe his sword, and then it goes to a cutscene where he's riding it down, laughing maniacally. He crashes, lands on the Earth, big explosion, opponents start flying off the stage, and then he laughs maniacally in the crater before it returns and the opponents are respawned. There you go. I have to give him that because that's his ultimate attack in practically every single game. And I know some of the later games give him more powerful ultimate attacks, but that was his ultimate attack, his biggest ultimate attack in the first game, and it's a standard tradition throughout the series of all in his moveset, so I had to make that his final smash. Meteor Impact, riding a meteor, crash lands opponents, big explosion, sends flying off stage, even maniacal laughter, Overlord Laharl. There you go. Now let's get on to percentage chance I could see him actually getting in, and quite frankly, it's not the best, but it's not really good either. I mean, it's not really bad either. It's not the worst. I do see a lot of him having a better shot than some third parties, but he's no Simon Belmont. He's no Rayman. He's no Bomberman. He's no Crash Bandicoot. He's no Spyro the Dragon. He's no Travis Touchdown. He's no Shantae. He's no Gunvolt. He's no Quote. He's no Shovel Knight. He's none of those characters. I don't think he's not in the highest range. I don't even think he's in the medium range. He's in the third range, the C range. There's like the A range, which is like Simon Belmont and Bomberman and Dragon Quest and like Crash Bandicoot and whatever. And then the next category is like Shantae and Shovel Knight and Travis Touchdown and whatnot. He's in the next category below him, like the C category. I'm giving him a 50% chance. It's still possible. They may want to promote him and advertise him because maybe Disgaea 6 is going to come to the Switch in a couple of years, and Disgaea 1's coming to it, and there's a big connection there on Nintendo. But it's not a major one that I would see them playing in. I do see a numerous amount of third parties getting in before he does, but he does stand a chance, and he is possible, and he would be a fun character. And if there is a Disgaea character, if the company actually ever wants to, put a character from their franchise in, it's likely going to be him more often than other choices, more likely than other choices. But yeah, 50% chance. He's not the most likely, but he's not the least likely. There are third-party characters I could see definitely least likely below him, but he is at least C range. So there you go. And that is it for Laharl from Disgaea. And put in the comments what you guys think. Do you guys like the Disgaea series? Have you ever actually played it? Does this video want to make you play it? Do you like Fire Emblem? Do you like Suikoden? Do you like Final Fantasy Tactics? Do you like any of the earlier Phantasy Star games? Try out the Disgaea series. It's similar in a tactical field, and if you especially like anime, it's really chock full of crazy anime, cliches, antics, and cool characters and special moves and whatnot. But do you want to see Laharl in or someone else from Disgaea? Does they deserve a character? Put in the comments section below. Discuss it there. Have fun. Does my moveset make sense? What moveset ideas would you give him? Is Meteor Impact a good final smash? 50% too high, too low? What reasons do you think it makes sense for this series to get a character in Smash Brothers? Put it down there. We can discuss it. Have fun. And that's it for character number 64. And when we get back, 65, character number 65 is going to be yet again a return to the Castlevania franchise with my third character after obviously Simon Belmont and Soma Cruz. When I talk about yet another Belmont, another major Belmont to the series, when I refer to and talk about Richter Belmont. See you later.